Joining me today is my oldest bear, Barney. Hello all, my name is Ava, and I believe that there is nothing stronger than a good bond with a sibling. They're with you for life, the highs and lows, the thick and the thin, everything in between. However, it seems that the subject for today's video never fully grasped that, always bickering and fighting with his little brother over the smallest of things. Whose go is it for the quill and ink? Who gets the bigger castle? Who gets the throne of England? Today we'll be talking about the captain of the First Crusade, the leader who left for most of his reign, and the man whose heel was a frying pan. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard I. In 1157, Richard was born into the house of Angevin/Plantagenet. He was the third son of Henry II. He had 7 siblings, but by his accession in 1189, only his little brother John was left, and his 2 sisters, but they're women so they're not less important. One of the first things that Richard did when he became King of England was leave England. He immediately left to join the Third Crusade, marching to Jerusalem to defeat Saladin and his Muslim troops. Richard, known for being a powerful, successful warrior, controlling rebels and being strategically intelligent, came to a truce agreement with Saladin 3 years later. Richard, literally nicknamed for being a powerful fighter with the heart of a lion, came to a truce agreement. Now look, I'm not an advocate for religious warfare, but there were 5 more crusades in the next 100 years. If I was Richard and I'd walked all of that way to Jerusalem, I'd be pretty miffed if they couldn't even stick to the agreement for 20 years. But Richard was apparently pleased with the outcome, so he started to make his way back to the country that he ruled and hated. Richard starts to make his way back, a long and excruciating journey, when, to everyone's horror, he is kidnapped and taken to Germany. Well, to everyone's horror, except for Richard's, because at least he didn't have to go back to England. Henry, the King of Germany, orders an 150,000 mark ransom for the king's return. Meanwhile, Richard's brother John is trying to ally with France. Truly having youngest child syndrome, John wants everything Richard has, namely, the throne of England. John makes an alliance with France, and they send French troops over to England. As is tradition in England and France, they have it out with each other, and England came out victorious. It should be noted that one of John's nicknames was Soft Sword, highlighting all of his military failures. I will however note that he did have 7 children. But brother Dickie is still cooped up in Germany, and their mother is starting to raise money for his release. But this is the opposite of what John wants, so he decides that the best course of action is to send Germany the money to keep Richard locked up there, instead of just not paying the ransom. But eventually, their mother Eleanor wants her little boy back, and so Richard is released. And unfortunately, Richard is left without an excuse to not be in England. In 1194, Richard returned for the second and final time for his reign, and almost immediately left to fight the French. Despite hating the country, Richard truly embodied our English values. Our English values being hating the French, of course. Richard had put all of his country's hard-earned money into this war, and in March of 1199 he was suppressing a revolt in Limousin. It was night time, and Richard decided to go on a stroll without his armour on, a genius move from the strategic militarist. And on the other side of this rebellion was a boy. He was only young, but he had a crossbow, a frying pan, and a dream. It was rumoured that the boy had taken a frying pan to deflect any English arrows, but seeing as they were just walking around naked, he didn't have much to worry about. He saw the King of England, took aim, and fired, hitting Richard in the shoulder. Now this shot didn't originally kill Richard, but the wound became gangrenous. On his deathbed, Richard ordered that the boy was forgiven, released from capture, and sent away with 100 shillings. The boy was then flayed alive and hanged. So is the fate of the Coeur de Lion, a true warrior, destined to create truces, be shot by children, and be succeeded by a man with the nickname Soft Sword. And that is all for today's video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow my Instagram. I hope you all have a rawsome day. Bye bye.